how you teach. And the brother got up there.
You got to see through that yourself.
There wasn't no bearing witness. Did nobody say yes sir, nothing. There was no clapping or applaud in his whole speech. It was just, because he was talking about it, so he wasn't talking about the messenger and what the messenger was doing. So we got back. The messenger asked me, he said, well, did you understand where he was coming from? I said, I said, because he wasn't teaching like he taught us to teach.
Yes, sir.
He said, well, I just wanted you to know. And so it was that way. The messenger knew where he was coming from. But when the transition happened, we being true followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, when he stood up before the minister and declared he wouldn't change not one thing that the messenger had put into service for the believers, he would keep the teaching just as it is. And he swore this. Well, the messenger was just buried yesterday, and we, thought that this was a righteous thing for us to do. I told the believers that same night, as they got there, because
What?
Man, where you been? Checking. Take him to, get a cup back and take him in the back. Take him in the back, get a cup. Let him
Put it on there.
Go ahead, brother, mister.
Yeah, come on, brother. They want to look at the soap.
so he stood before all the ministers, and he told them, said, any of you brothers want another wife, you go ahead and take them. And brothers thought, oh, yeah, man, I've been looking at a sister.
Why you even come up with that first?
And I told the brothers then that it was wrong. So the messenger hadn't been teaching us this. And they said, well, you won't believe that and you don't want to do that? Said, you are like a hypocrite. I said, you can brand me what you want to, but I'm going to keep on doing what the messenger said do. Because I knew the animosity between him and the messenger all the time. And so they brand me a hypocrite. I said, well, it's all right. And
What time was this?
in 3 months, he had changed everything.
Okay. 75.
Yeah. He had changed the name of the Muhammad Speak newspaper to the Baladian News.
Yes, sir.
Brother, what do you think? They didn't have very smart followers, or they just figured they had to go along with what he said?
We had smart followers, but you see, the believers, true believers, didn't want no division at that time. You see, and they didn't have enough people strong enough to carry enough believers to oppose them. You see, when this happened, the true believers started breaking away.
Yeah.
And when he completely changed things, and he stopped the MGT and the FOI classes, and the first Savior's Day after then, they start having dances at Savior's Day. Brothers dancing with sisters, bringing, and all this. Well, a lot of people, you see, Allah have a way to bringing out in you that which is there.
Yes, sir.
We were being tried. Though they didn't believe it, they didn't even understand they were being tried. If they had understood, they wouldn't have gone along with these things.
Right.
So this actually been prophesied before it even happened. This actually had been prophesied, before it even happened. All this being happened. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
You understand what I'm? This it been prophesied that this was going to happen before it even ever happened.
Right. You see, the die had been set. The messenger had told the ministers that there was going to be a fall on the way. the ministers didn't really understand where he was coming from at that time. And they didn't realize they were being tried. And this is the way Allah was trying them.
Right, right,
He give you the world and you walk away from it
right.
for that which you don't need. We had everything. We had prayed for the day to come where we would have all this that the messenger had given us. We were a nation within a nation, showing the world that we were independent of the nation. We had everything. We were self-producing of everything. But we lost everything. Because we were being tried. And like I said in the Holy Quran, that saying you believe is not enough. Didn't you know that you were going to be tried? You would be tried continuously.
Right.
So I ask you a question, if you don't mind. In the Messenger Muhammad meets the press, when he was talking about there will be no successor. This was 1972, and they kept asking the questions, and they asked him about how the resources would be administered, and he got into how those things would take place. And how would you explain all of that, and step with the times that we're in now? Because the things that you said today and the things I've heard you say previously. But said there will be no successor. Once a man bring you face to face with God, there's nothing for another to do.
Well, it didn't say you wouldn't have guidance.
True. I can understand that.
But nobody can succeed the messenger.
Right.
Only Allah
Right.
can appoint a successor. And there's only one messenger in the time
Right.
that the messenger's job and the time period that it was given to complete that job, that only one messenger would be there.
My question is, with all of that, because he said that they will set this up on the right way, and they won't need any more guidance. If we have a copy of that here in the well.
We don't need no more guidance.
Right.
We have someone to keep us in line
Right.
And
of the guidance that he gave.
who would that be?
A structure.
Is it, brother?
Like you said, it like a government.
I'm asking a question. Who would that be?
Who would that be?
Yes, sir.
Well, that's to be seen, brother.
Okay.
I mean, there's so much envy and jealousy among the believers that call themselves true believers but are not, that they wouldn't accept anyone. Those who are disbelievers in their heart, they won't accept anyone.
Okay.
If a believer or someone said, we're going to have this brother that lead us and guide us, you know, there would be so much criticism, and animosity spread around. You see, no matter if the messenger chose one before he left, they still wouldn't be satisfied.
I mean, we're not ready yet for that.
Well,
What you talking about?
this is what I'm
Yes, sir.
talking about.
Yes, sir. I mean, we're not ready.
See, because our hearts and our minds are not set
Right.
to accept what the messenger. See,
Which means-
we question.
Yes, sir.
If we question what the messenger said, then we must understand that what he taught us was our way out.
Right.
Excuse me. It's like he said, there is no big eyes or little U's. We see people have misinterpreted what that meant.
Right. Yes,
You
sir.
see, there is no big eyes and little U's if there is restrictive law. Everybody's under the law. There's nobody above the law.
Correct.
But they figure if there's someone appointed as minister over all the other ministers, that he's going to be a big eye. But no matter how high you go in Islam, you are subject to the law.
Right.
That's what the big I and little U mean. It don't mean there's nobody going to be over you.
Right.
There's always been somebody over you.
Right.
And there always will be somebody
That's right.
over you. And if we're going to get out of here, there's going to be somebody that's going to lead us out of here.
That's right,
Everybody's
teach.
not a leader.
Yes, sir.
Well, and how would how would that leader be manifested? That's my question. And I'm real serious about this because, you know, the messenger recognized the Savior. It was something, the message, I was listening to him today talking about the Savior was not a silk peddler. And he was talking about how the Savior so made the measure suit. And when he, you know, ran across the Savior, he recognized him. And I think you taught one time when the brother came in from New York, how the messenger recognized the Savior and the believers recognized the messenger. How much of recognition is going to be, how important recognition is going to be in the bringing this about what you're talking about now? Because if you don't recognize each other in specifics.
But the thing about it is, there are those who are already recognized. But the idea is others submitting. You see, I spoke in New York about 3 or 4 months ago.
Yes, sir.
And there were brothers that were there and came up and said, I'm ready to get behind you 100% right now, Brother Minister. He said, tell us what we should do. And I told them to keep coming to the temple under Minister Abdul Haq. I said, keep coming, and he will guide you in the right direction. I said, if you want me...
Abdul Haq?
Yes, Muhammad.
So he has a temple now?
Yes, sir.
When did that happen?
I don't know.
Because last time I spoke to him, he said he believed in temple. This one he told me personally. I mean, actually, he said it on the...
Well, he's the one that had me to come to New York.
Okay, I know the brother you're talking about. The well-spoken brother.
Excuse me, brother, if I may add this today. If we were to look at those, when Allah is speaking as I, his word is not as frequent as when he speaks to the we and us. So I think it's something to be learned from. So, in the absence of the supreme being, or the supreme order, the law is always in effect. And we, as Moses, and we gave Jesus lawful place. So, if the devil, with his 6 ounce brain, is able to make a house of representatives, 50 senators for each state, how they get it? They vote them in.
Right.
They vote them in. I mean, ain't nothing divine about his program.
Right,
It's just
right.
a simple selection. Of course, they bribe and doing all that go with it, and that's the devil. But they do it. We got to struggle.
But the thing about it is, you can't vote nobody in unless somebody appoints someone for the position.
But you said
Nominate. If you're going to use that language, it's nomination.
Right.
Nomination.
Right. So,
Then you can vote on it.
so all
There's not that many that just got here, so
that's true. And so those ones that know it, you would still have to look at their qualifications and their track record.
Right.
Because some might be very knowledgeable about a lot of things, but like you said, they sold us out.
Right.
And on the sellout, I mean, that's
Not all of them, so
Not I said all, I said some.
you said they.
Yeah.
That included all of them.
Well, I didn't mean, I wouldn't say some, I don't mean, right, some. Some sold us out, and based on the history, it was most of them. So, they shouldn't feel bad at all if a person actually wants to see some qualifications on what kind of life did they live. I mean, I wouldn't feel bad at all in this day and time if a person would say, well, brother, what did you do in something? I wouldn't feel bad. I mean, I know it could be, because it sets a precedent. It has validity. Don't, wouldn't you think? Validity.
What's that, brother?
If a person was asked to a brother,
Pull their record.
where did you fall in 1975 when they stood up against the man? And now, if
You have to look at how many.
If I came there wrong, that could be an explanation. I could have been in the dark. I could have been motivated by whatever. It might not have been a maliciously trying to do it, but nevertheless I did it. Well, I mean, if he asked me, I got to do it. I think the brother was smart to ask, but
These are my qualifications. The messenger qualified me. to spread the truth throughout the country. Now, if the messenger hadn't appointed you, what would you do?
You said if he appointed me,
If he appointed you,
well, you
do that.
Well, you have to obey it, do what you said.
That's why I'm still here. I've never deviated.
Yes, sir.
So, in your mind, what does that letter mean? What it means to you, and what should, in your opinion, what should it mean to us?
Well, it means, for one thing, that I should carry out the mission that he gave me. Continue to spread the truth throughout the country.
Brother,
And what it says here.
I just wanted to read that something.
Read it, read it aloud.
you want to read out loud, brother?
In the name of Allah, and the name of the Elijah Muhammad, messenger of Allah. Small white is address down there, a Seesaw Woodline. It's dated March the 24th, 1970. You hear my voice counter because this message. Now, you hear my voice counter, I got to read this carefully there because the messenger's name on it. Mr. Basir Muhammad, 501 West Greenleaf Boulevard, Compton, California, 90220. Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Almighty Allah, the most merciful Savior, our deliverer who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom praises are due forever, Master of the Dear Judges. To Allah alone do I submit and seek refuge. Dear brother minister, this letter just comes to acknowledge the receipt of your letter dated March the 11th, 1970, giving a general report of the happenings. Thank you for your letter, brother, and I pray Allah that He blesses you to be successful in spreading the truth throughout the country. Please extend my greetings to the believers wherever you see them. Assalamu alaikum. It's the messenger's signature, Elijah Muhammad, messenger of Allah.
Now, something like brother.
So now you go ahead, brother.
That same documentation that you have as a minister, the fruit was given that automatically when it said, keep my teaching going. Those who did that, they might not have gotten, because he couldn't have gave a letter to every one of those. They might not have gotten a personal letter.
He was talking about the believers. The believers are not in charge of the teaching. It's the ministers. When he said, keep my teachings as it is, he was talking to the ministers.
But
He wasn't talking about the believers. The ministers are the one that have instructions to keep the teachings as it is.
They did, but they didn't do it.
They didn't do it.
What about the time and absence of the minister? Right, that's what I was looking at.
It raised a whole other group of brothers.
Right.
You see what I'm saying, right?
It raised a whole other
It
group of
forced them to, if they hadn't stood, what would they be?
Like in 1977, I was still in high school playing basketball. I was running from this side of town over to the town I grew up in. And I was picked up by a brother in 1977, two brothers. And they told me I was doing a project for school on Islam. And I asked him about Islam. At that time I was told, this was the spring of 1977, for high school junior. And at this time, these were brothers who were FOI under the messenger. Spring of 1977, I knew at that point in time that Louis Farrakhan was a hypocrite, and I also learned at that time that Wallace Muhammad was a hypocrite. Okay? Now, I didn't come in at that time. You know, a few years later, I came on in with those particular brothers. So, were they not responsible for telling me the truth?
They were hypocrites. They didn't want to do it.
Okay?
You don't expect the truth from a hypocrite.
Right. So they told me the truth, so that was their job. And that's all, that should have been all of their job, which is
We're a product of it.
part of that.
If Allah hadn't been with us, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, well, the messenger didn't give his instructions to the believers. He gave them to the minister.
I know.
All of
And
them.
they failed us.
Right.
They failed us.
Right.
They forced it first.
Right.
When you said they, are you talking about all of them?
The ones who failed.